How's everybody doing? My name is Minister Tyrone J. Floyd, also known as Church Dude 2020. I want to have a discussion with you about some things that have been bothering me that occurred over this past weekend. I am an Atlantic City resident, and I felt it was my duty to support Steve Young in his march on the 4th of July. I started not to talk to you about this because I didn't want to appear too critical. I wanted to give the brother the benefit of the doubt, meaning Mayor Marty Smalls. But then I thought about it for a minute, and a few things came to mind. First one is, Mr. Mayor, where was your righteous indignation 3.5 weeks ago when Steve Young and the marchers, which was over 100, shut down the city? So the question becomes, what changed? You didn't arrest him then. Now, I might be missing something. And if I am, forgive me. But you didn't arrest him then, but on the 4th of July, you decided to have him arrested. Then you hold a press conference where it appears that you basically assassinated Steve Young's personality. You stood up and made it clear the way you felt about Steve Young. Here's a man that didn't break any laws. He wasn't guilty of anything, but you hold a press conference and you assassinate his character. That didn't sit well with me. And I tried my best to give you the benefit of the doubt on that issue. And then I thought about a couple other things. This is an election. By the time you're seeing it's probably already passed. But the 4th of July, that's when you decide to stand and make an example of a man who committed no crimes. None. All the marches that he has ever been in, he has never personally been a part of any looting or any burning or any tearing down the city, but you have a press conference on it. And you begin to tell the story what led up to that point. All right, we'll let that go for right now. But the other thing is this. You said that you dismiss his agenda outright. Did you read it? Because I read it. Even if you did not like the man, he made good points. One of the issues was why? We need an answer to this. And I'm a resident, so yes, I need an answer to this. Why did they shut down the pediatric wards in Atlantic City Hospital? One of the other things that he brought up in his agenda is economic equality, if I can say that word. Equality. Economic equality. Why is it that jobs, not only jobs, but store ownership is not allowed in Atlantic City? Now, you may know the answer, and if you do, you didn't say it at your press conference, but you dismissed his agenda outright when there were some good things in it. You don't have to like the man. You know, the funny thing about it, he did have a meeting with the owner of Hard Rock, and they had positive discussions. So again, the question becomes, why was the 4th of July different? And that bugged me. But I think what bugged me even more was the fact that you had a press conference. You are the mayor of Atlantic City, and you have the state backing you. But you have a press conference on a man who committed no crimes. And you assassinate his character, in my opinion. One of the problems that we have in our Black community is that we let people divide and conquer us. And Mr. Mayor, you listen to the dog whistles of those that surrounded you that didn't have Black people's heart or the problems that they're dealing with. One of the other things is that your visceral attack of Steve Young was beneath the office of the mayor. You said that you're not going to let anybody disrespect the city of Atlantic City or disrespect the mayor's office. Here's a couple of things. Number one, the mayor's office will survive long after you're gone. It has survived crooks, thieves, and a whole lot of other people. So the office itself does not need you to defend it. It will be there long after you and I are gone. So to use the excuse that Steve Young disrespected the office and the city. So let me see if I got this right, and I could be wrong. You had him arrested, not because he did anything wrong, because you didn't have him arrested before, but because he disrespected you and the city. You are the mayor of Atlantic City. Well, we won't know until a few days from now. But for right now, as the airing of this tape, you are the mayor. You have the state backing you up. But yet you pick on a brother whose only object is to help Black people in Atlantic City. So when you had your press conference, you personally made it about Steve Young. Steve Young came with an agenda, with good things on it, but you dismissed that right out of hand. You made it about Steve Young. Steve Young is not about Steve Young, because everything that I read in it, these are things that we need to do. But you made it about Steve Young. Steve Young didn't make it about Steve Young. You did when you had your press conference. So it is one thing to have disagreements, but it's quite another thing when you marginalize another Black man who's trying to do good for the city. His agenda was not about him. It was about us, and you for that matter. That's what the agenda was about. Now, he may have put the people together to draw it up and bring it that, but that's what that was. It wasn't personal. It wasn't about Steve Young. It was about the welfare of Black Atlantic City residents. And you missed that completely. You missed that completely, and you went on attack. Your visceral response was, to say the least, troubling. Now, I don't know what's going to happen later on, and I don't know what's going to happen at the vote. But me as a resident of Atlantic City, I have concerns because it could have been handled a lot better. Because the way it appears is that you did that as a stunt because somebody told you, if you don't do this, you won't get elected. All right, even if that's the case, you have to give the Black residents of Atlantic City a little more credit than that. We see right through the stunt. So, Mr. Mayor, it was not about Steve Young. It was about you. You had your truck, your campaign truck, drive by and disrupt a peaceful gathering in front of the safety building, playing your stump speech. Now, I don't know if you told him to do that, but that's the way it appears. It was disrespectful. It was another way of marginalizing another Black man. We have enough problems in dealing with situations than to have another Black man marginalize another Black man who's trying to do something good for marginal reasons. So if you are reelected, I hope you do not listen to the dog whistles. I'll go into that at another time. But see, here's the thing. With all your ranting about Steve Young, you never mentioned one word about his agenda. You just dismissed it outright because you felt disrespected. You felt that Steve Young disrespected the city. So what? You are the mayor. You have the power of the office. You have the state backing behind you. Who is Steve Young? A voice crying in the wilderness, trying to do something to help his people. And for all those that are down on Steve Young, talking about Steve Young is for himself, wake up. Read his agenda. That's all. If you read his agenda, it will occur to you that it's not about Steve Young. Now, he may have put it together, and I applaud him for that, but the agenda is good. It is disrespectful for the mayor to dismiss it outright because he felt personally disrespected. Mr. Mayor, I hope you do better. I really do. Because the issues that are facing the Black community, they are calling for Black men to unite, to Black men to stand up, no matter who it is. You may not like Steve Young, I get that. But if his agenda is sound, you get behind the agenda and not the man. People used to tell me all the time, I can't stand Sharpton. Sharpton this and Sharpton that, Sharpton that. He's all about himself. So I heard Sharpton speak one time. He says, people say that I'm all about myself. All you want is publicity. Sharpton says, yeah, that's what I do. Meaning that when you call Sharpton, man, you don't have to like him. When he comes, he brings the press with him. And he does not drown out the message. So, Mr. Mayor, do not let the naysayers that run this city bait you into drowning out the message. The message that Steve Young is pushing is a better lifestyle for Atlantic City residents. So, good luck.